Okay, okay. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's see how to get this up and running. Okay, yeah, when it starts in a minute. Let's see. First, gotta see where my time is at. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay, got 7 minutes of my time. All right, guys, what's up? I know y'all want to know about this topic. So, what is cat4s? Now, for my previous video, I was talking about the recruiter and what you do when you get to the recruiter, and actually when you pass and go to MEPS. So, this video is about what happens if you don't pass the ASVAB and you have to wait a while. So basically, Cat 4 is simple. It's a way for you to get in the Army without scoring high on the ASVAB, which is over the legal limit of 31. If you have gotten over the 31, you are in the service and you're good to go. But if you don't get a 31, and if you don't pass it that first time when you go to MEPS, you got like a 28 or a 25, you got to wait a month. And then if you do it again and you fail the ASVAB again, you got to wait another 30 days. And if you don't pass that again, you get, well, I think it's 6 months, your third attempt. And for your fourth attempt, it's about a year. So let's just say within the time you took the ASVAB between a whole year time that you did not pass and you got like a 25 or 30, but you didn't get that 31. This what will happen is, the recruiter say, okay, go study, we'll see what happens. And study on your own. We'll schedule for another ASVAB. We do a practice test when you come back, all that good stuff. So you did not actually pass it, and you're just waiting at home. You're studying and stuff and things like that. And your recruiter will call you, be like, hey, such and such. So you still interested in joining? I was like, yeah. All right, well, I need you here tomorrow to see your height and weight, and I might give you a practice test just in case. And he was like, okay, what's the occasion? It's like, well, we having this thing in the Army called Cat 4s, which will get you in under the score you already have. But we just need to see, have you been, between the 30 days you left me or the 6 months or the year. So say you home for like 6 months, you were studying, but you wasn't good enough. So your recruiter call you, say that, come down, and they have a limited number of slots for you to actually get in because let's say you in the state of California or Arizona, stuff like that, they might be only having 1,000 slots for Cat 4s within a week or maybe 3 days. You got to get on your P's and Q's. So your recruiter will call you, and your recruiter will know who didn't pass the ASVAB and who did. So you get there to your recruiter station, and it's like, okay, cool. Did anything change in the last 30, 60, or year you've been since you've seen me? It's like, no, not really, or yes. So whatever you did, you gotta give them all the documents that if you did change, but if you didn't change, it's a good thing. Because the recruiter will go through you, say, hey, okay, you got a 20 or 25 or 26. You are limited to jobs because you didn't really pass it, but they always is needs of the Army. So the Army would say, okay, we got these many jobs for you based on your ASVAB line scores or something. And since you got that, you say to your recruiter, okay, here's the list. What do you want? Okay, I want this. I want that one. So you'll get to MEPS and you got to get there because if you don't get there with certain days and they close, you're going to be in a predicament all over again. So you get to MEPS, you got to do your height and weight again because, like I said, stuff could happen in 30 days, 60, or a year time. So you get there, you don't got to do the ASVAB again because you're already qualified. You don't have to really do the medical, like all that medical part, because you already did the medical and it's valid. The only thing you're doing is going on the scale and you're getting your height done and see if you gained or lost pounds or whatever. So when you at MEPS, you will wait for the liaison, the Army liaison, to say, okay, such and such, here you go. All right, so here's the contract we're gonna give to you. Do you want a 3-year contract, a 4-year contract, or a 6-year? Depending on what you want to do, if you're active or reserve or National Guard, just depends on you. You might get a bonus, you might not get a bonus, but most likely you won't get a bonus because the Army is actually helping you get in with the score you have. Since you are there with the liaison, they're gonna go over the jobs. They say, okay, what 3 jobs you want? Look at the list he got you because the list could change from your recruiter to the liaison at MEPS. See, I had was on cat4 also, and I have gotten an A25 on the ASVAB, I think, and that got me in the door. And the jobs they have at the liaison office is way going to be different. So that's why I picked my job, and it was good to go from there. So it's an all day process, regardless if you're just there for height, weight, signing contract. You got to get sweared in and things like that. So you go for it. Some jobs might have a bonus. I suggest take the bonus because you'll need that money once you get out of AIT, and that'll help you progress, in your day to day. But if you don't take the money, you're leaving it on the table for another day. So, and that being said, you there signing the contract, your recruiter or the liaison tell you to, because your recruiter be there also to guide you. So you pick your jobs, and then the liaison tell you to sit, while they do the paperwork, make sure the job is available. And you can also determine where you want to go for basic and AIT at. Like, they got 4 duty stations for the basic training: Fort Jackson, Fort Bennett, Fort Sill, and I forgot the fourth one, but I ain't haven't been there. I went to Fort Jackson. They was like, so when do you want to go? What year? What month? Where you want to go to basic training? The AIT is set regardless because it depends on your job. So you go to Fort Jackson. If you're most likely going to Fort Jackson, you most likely will go to Fort Lee, Virginia. But you might not go to Fort Lee, Virginia. You might go to Fort Houston, or it just depends on your AIT. So you will go at the time that they tell you to, or the time you want to, negotiate with the liaison. So this is what you do. Say, I would recommend people going in October because October would be the best time to go to basic training because they'll have something called VBL or holiday block leave, which means you get 2 weeks off in January or December and you come back in January. Especially with somebody that been to AIT, I mean basic training to be exact. If you do it, that 2 weeks will help you because they'll recuperate you from all the basic training needs and things like that. So now that you are there, your liaison will call you and say, hey, such and such, come back here. All right, we don't got the job you wanted. Do you want another job? What is talking about? You see what this talking about? I could promise you this. I could promise you where this location is at for basic training. But you say you want to go in October, might switch up for this. You might go with it. You might not. You're like, nah, let's see what else you got. So liaison say, okay, I work with you. I got you this location. I got you this basic training site. You leave October 2nd, and that will be perfect because if you leave October 2nd, you might leave before that 2 weeks off, and then when you get that 2 weeks off and go back home and see your loved ones for Christmas, that's going to be a plus because in that 2 weeks off in December, I think the government shuts down a little bit so you could go home. So you're there. he say to you or she say to you, okay, I got your job, here you go. You want to sign this contract? Now, at that point in time, you could opt out and say, no, I don't want to do the military at all, or you do want to do it. So you sign your contract, you sign your 3 year, 4 year, or 6 years, how many loans you want to go. That's up to you. So you sign your 3 year contract. And sign it, you sign it first with the liaison, and then you got to do it with officer later on down MEPS because the officer will approve your orders because basically your contract is saying orders that you're going to go to do this. So you do that and everything. Your families and loved ones are there because you tell them you're going to the military. That's a good thing, and then you swear in. You know, that's a good thing that you swear in. You didn't do good on the ASVAB, but listen here, you can get a better ASVAB score. The ASVAB score you can get, you got to go to what's called your education department. They will have something called the fast class, so you could go there. They do like a month training. You get your better ASVAB score because the better ASVAB score you got, the better bonus you get. It might look good on promotions and hiring for like outside the jobs and things like that. And you also get ribbons, and especially when you're trying to go back to school too, because you get something called a kicker or something, and that will help you along the way. So that's a good thing. The education department will get you to get a better average score because you could be out of school for so long, or you could not have been out of school, but that's a good thing right there. The education department will help you. But since this COVID-19 thing's going on, I don't know. I just know in the past it was a good thing to do. But now, since the COVID-19 starting to settle down, stuff looking to open up, you must do it because if you want to progress in the military, you got to get a better ASVAB score. It will look very good on your military resume. And from going from a 25 to an 80, bonuses out the butt will get you help. Well, trust me. I'm going to go to the education department and ask them for help. Say, hey, I'm looking to improve my ASVAB score. I was weak. I was on the cat 4. Need to get um, better at it. So there you go. From there, that's basically what a cat 4 is. Gives you a chance, a fighting chance, because I know the ASVAB will be stressful. A fighting chance of getting into the military. Don't I think the Air Force don't do cat 4s because you know how the Air Force are. Don't matter what, 31 at 31 or better, you're joining the Air Force. The Marines might, Navy, Coast Guard might. I don't know. You just gotta check with your recruiter. Just say, hey, when is cat 4s open up? I'm looking for cat 4s. I should say don't be dependent on the cat 4s because, like I said, it's a number of slots. Your state might only have 50 slots. Remember, 50 out of the whole state is vying for those cat 4 spots. And once that cat 4 is opened up, be on your recruiter and be like, I want to do it. I know I don't have a good score, but I want to do it. So, once that is done, that's a good thing. And if you have cat 4s and the National Guard, you can switch to active duty, but it just depends on your um, contract you sign. Like if 3 year contract, you got to do I think half that a year and a half before you can switch to active duty, and you got to get your P's and Q's in order before that happens, or you just wait out your 3 year contract. But if you're in a 6 year contract, if you know you really want to do active duty, just sign a 3 year contract. Half the year is going to be up because half the year is going to be spent in basic training, ART regardless. You're going to be in your unit probably for about maybe 2 or 3 months before you say, "Hey, I want to do active duty. I like National Guard, but it's not for me." Trust me, and you'll get way more if you do it through um, the active duty side than the National Guard side. But in all, it's all good for now. Active duty will be good for people that want to progress, and you should do it. So, if you anybody have any more questions about cat 4s, please hit me up. Subscribe to the channel. Give me some likes, cash at me some questions, anything. I'm here to help. Q Wilson out and have a good afternoon.